This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up? No, it is another Tuesday. This is Knockouts and 3 Counts. I survived SummerSlam and found my fucking sunglasses, so it's a good day on a Tuesday because I was really going to be upset if them sunglasses was gone. As if I wasn't already blind enough. Now they're trying to make me look stupid having smugly glasses. But luckily, we found my sunglasses. My Sunday was saved, but holy shit, did we have one hell of a weekend between Flophouse, everything that we saw at SummerSlam, and then we're going to follow it up with this weekend with King of the Kill from Ruthless Pro Wrestling. I'm just ready to see somebody get carved up real quick. But in the meantime, we got a lot to talk about from this past weekend. So without any further ado, we got the return of our buddy Chris from RPW, man. How the fuck you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. Thanks for having me on again.
Hey, yo. What up, Alicia? I seen you showing love to that shirt I was wearing. My fit was crispy at SummerSlam. If you didn't check that shit out, you need to check that out at KO3C Pod. And Roosevelt's, I know you know what's going on because I sent y'all an email. Anytime you want to send me some free shit, I am with it. Now that I got that all out of the way, dude, what a fucking weekend we just had between what was going on here in Detroit with all the indie stuff, along with obviously what we had happen at SummerSlam. Before we get into what went down with SummerSlam, man, you know, you were there at Flophouse as fuck, no fucks given, just like we were, which we sponsored the show. Shout out to Schwartzy and Randy. What were your thoughts on the weekend, bro? How'd you like Flophouse?
I'll tell you what, I was actually at the very first Flophouse show, and I've been at several throughout. I was actually commentator on the very first Flophouse show. I was very, very proud of those guys. I loved what the whole vibe of it was, so what they've always been. Like it was just a full fucking party. You know, no one was taking anything too seriously. There was still great wrestling going on, but, you know, there was a great sense of humor to it. People were walking around litty as shit. It was just a full party experience. Like, yeah, it was. It was a great goddamn time. I mean, like when I think Flophouse Wrestling, that's the show I'm going to think about now.
Can't argue that, dude. J-Bone, or you know what? Fuck that. J-Bone, you go next. Corey, you're the non-wrestling guy. Tell me what your thoughts were. Flophouse is fuck, and tell me how you felt about Paul London serenading you.
It was very interesting to get to sing along while singing into my tall PBR can with another man singing to me. Interesting experience for sure. But no, Flophouse, as you described, I feel like that was a pretty accurate description. There was wrestling involved in a party. It is kind of what the night felt like to me. It was a good experience to get to hang out with my friends. Me and Jordan, for the most part, got to run around, fucking around while Kyle's doing his podcasting, networking gold. You know, no complaints, Kyle.
I'm just going to put this out there. Y'all stay tuned because the pay-per-view parties might be making a return sooner rather than later.
Kyle's always working, man. We already know how it goes. Kyle's a grinder. Yeah. We appreciate that.
I was at that show after busting up my ribs and getting x-rays and all that shit. There wasn't no way I was missing it. Yeah. So,
my man was out no hate. I wasn't saying it that way. I was just saying, you know, me and Jordan got to run around, kind of dick around, enjoy a good time, watch some fun festivities, do some good people watching, enjoy some good drinks, or at least some PBRs in the can, if you want to call that a good drink. But either way, I was having a pretty good time. So what about you, Jordan?
Dude, hold on, though. But you can't just jump off there without telling me. You got to tell me what you think of. You know, we had a litany of guests for any of you guys who weren't there. Look at that big word I just pulled out. But with that being said, tell me what you thought about you. You know, we had Tommy Vendetta was on that one. You had Hoodfoot, who we just had on there. Randy was on there. You had Schwartzy was doing his thing. Obviously, you had. And then in the main event, you had Tremont and Satu Jin, who we just had on the show this week. So what did you think of seeing some of these guys live? Because I know for a fact you haven't seen some of them live.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, like I believe I've seen Tommy. I've seen a good handful of those guys, but not all of them. That's for sure. And it's always interesting seeing, the way people, especially like with the Hoodfoot thing, right? Like I was saying that, I don't know if that was you, Kyle, if you were at that point, or if I was talking to Jordan about that. I was just surprised the role he was in with the whole, they had death matches on the night, but yet he wasn't even one of the death match feature guys, and he still did a solid match, beforehand. So it was interesting the way that the night played out, I guess you can say. I mean, for me to talk about, like, tactically and stuff, I thought they all did an entertaining job. I was also at this time, a solid 6 or 7, 8 pack deep, but I thought everybody had, it was entertaining. That would be the best way I would describe it. To break it down tactically, or, anything like that, that's not where I'm going to go, but it was definitely entertaining. Like I described, for me, it was a party where I could tune into the wrestling and then also go back to, enjoying the party at the same time. And I didn't feel like it was pressured either way. Another aspect, before I do kind of pass the mic back off, that I thought was really interesting was towards the end of the festivities, I guess you can say, when they stopped charging for tickets and was just, you started to get the random bar crowd shuffling their way to the back. That was pretty awesome too, man. You got to see all, like, the honest reactions of people that were not expecting to go see wrestling in their local, bar backyard on a Friday night, and it added an extra layer of entertainment for the main event and the co-main. For the last couple matches, it definitely added another layer.
I'd say she added entertainment, but we'll talk about that in a minute. J-Bone, what were your thoughts on Flophouse No Fucks Given?
Dude, it lived up to what we talked about, man. That was one of the better parties, pro wrestling show. It was the biggest party in pro wrestling. It was cool, so cool to see just a collective of familiar faces. Chris, Mike from Circle 6, just everybody that was there, man. It was all good. It was all good vibes, like Swartzy said, and like he planned. He got us fucked up. That was the plan.
Yeah,
you got to watch some
dummy.
good wrestling, man. And it was the kickoff to a really good weekend in Detroit, man. I can honestly say that was one of the better times I've ever had. So that was great. Shout out to Flophouse, man. Awesome time.
I had a blast. First of all, number one, I had so many people ended up coming through. Between shout out to Mitch and his brother Sam coming through before he leaves out for Kansas City, and then Smitty from Breaking Down the Ring came through, and then just all the different people that you don't get to see very often. I feel like J-Bone said and what Corey said, it really was just a party with the wrestling was part of the party. But all in all, man, it was good vibes. I feel like everybody that was there had a good time. That main event, though, got pretty fucking gnarly. I mean, yeah. Danny DeMonto got himself quite the birthday present, but then it also involved winning a title and losing a title all in the same hour span. So, yeah, man. You are not kidding. Yep, we saw some areolas on Friday at Flophouse. Now, I'm not going to hold you up. She was literally standing right next to us before she ran up there, and I swear to God, we were like, okay, they got to know who she is. And then I realized, oh no, they don't know who it is, because Hoodfoot came out there and it's like, yo, we can't have that shit on camera, and she was just living her best life. Bro. That was wild. And then I'm sure that gave Danny a little extra motivation.
Sometimes it be like that, dude.
Added motivation.
Like that sometimes.
I mean, come on, look what we were doing, right? We're at Flophouse, we're at the old Miami, it's Detroit. Did you not expect something like that? I mean, come on, right? Biggest party of the summer, man. What did you expect? Let's go.
Hey, man, not bad either. It was it added to the experience.
I mean, it all fit.
I just think that just shows how comfortable people were in that party. Like everyone was just having such a good time that they got that loose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And can we talk about the burger truck? That shit was on fire, dude.
Oh, dude.
First of all, that burger truck was so money. Second of all, the fact that we ran into Satu Jin at the burger truck, that just was an added layer of like, wow, this is legit a party in Detroit, dude. Like, we're just hanging with Satu Jin at the burger truck. I think I got the cheese curd burger. I don't really remember.
That's what I got.
Oh, that shit was money.
Fuck all
It was
three.
delicious.
I just
Yeah,
don't
that
try
was
my
a
luck with
solid
that
one.
kind of stuff. I just
did you
kept it
get,
simple, bro. I got just, I don't remember if they called it the build yourself one or I just got the regular all American one, but I had like cheese, bacon, and barbecue sauce on mine.
Oh, right on.
I don't really get all the extra stuff because, like we've talked about before, my guts don't like to play a lot of the time. So I usually kind of know what my deal is before we're even getting there.
Better to play it safe.
Look, bro,
I doubled down. I got the burger or the cheese curd burger. Then I got the mac and cheese balls.
What up, no?
What's up, Donnie?
How's the mac and cheese balls though?
Oh, they were dank as shit. They had like a little special homemade sauce that they made that they came with it. It was kind of almost like a Thousand Island, but it was like.
Does anybody know the name of that burger truck?
Tastier. What's
yeah,
that?
they have one.
What is the name of the burger truck?
They have one in Dearborn. It's called the Burger Truck. It's literally that's what it's called.
The burger truck. Okay.
The Burger Truck, and it's on Michigan and Wyoming. I drive past it all the fucking time.
See, that food truck was insane. You hear that?
It was a crazy thing. When I woke up on Saturday, I was like, "Oh man,
Chris has a ghost at his place, bro. He better call the Ghostbusters right quick."
But what was the name of that burger truck? That's what I woke up thinking.
I gotta look on my transactions, and it should tell me. And I will definitely let you guys know because if there's ever a burger truck like that one at the joint, we need to do that.
I have a picture of it, and it just says the hamburger truck across it. Like there's not a name.
Yeah, it's the burger truck. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's just the burger truck. But
keep these guys out because you made our whole night. So
one thing I want to say too, to kind of add to it too, is I feel like for the most part with these wrestling events, you get a good diverse group of people. But I feel like this one brought out even more so that, or people were just kind of turning it up to 11, I guess you could say, with their, you know, it really brought out a diverse crowd. I know when I
see, there's another one.
Stepped outside the gate to do, well, we're in a recreational state, so partake in some 21 and ups. That being said, yeah, it was a diverse crowd. I got to chit chat with quite a few. I thought I was a dedicated ass smoker, and there's some people that were fanny packing it up and killing my ass with the collections that they walked around with their waist.
I thought I saw somebody behind Chris right now. Yeah, that's Flo. She's trying to save you on her on your car insurance. But all right. Also, I've got to get. I mean, you can't see him. All right. Per Donald's request, shout out to Donald, man. You had Donald picked him up another Knockouts and three count shirt. Make sure you take a picture of that thing, sir. We've got them both on. I got the OG one. He's got the other one on. Chris got him one. Get you a shirt.
I was wearing mine yesterday.
Mine's in the water.
Hell yeah.
Again.
Me and Donald both got inducted this weekend. It was nice.
Dude, I came back out there, Donald, and asked J-Bone. I was like, where's he at? And then I never saw you. But
Kyle, you never said hi to Donald?
I didn't ever see him again. I feel like a dick.
Kyle. Oh, damn.
I know. What the fuck, man? My feelings are a little bit hurt.
Of all things wrestling in Detroit, you especially have to say what up to Donald.
Of course. Donald is one of the best guys that we've had on, supporting the show. I'm not trying to throw no shade at Donald.
Consider yourself, and this is shout out to Donald, but consider yourself stoned and shamed, preferably stoned, in more ways than one.
Well, I mean, what I was gonna say, what kind of stoned are we talking? I don't need to be getting tied up to nothing and getting stones thrown at me now. I mean, fuck all that. But speaking of getting shit,
quick question before we jump into, I don't know what you were jumping into, but quick question. From people that were more, I guess, vested in the characters and the wrestlers that were performing and stuff, what really stood out to you guys attending the event on Friday?
Paul London for sure.
I guess I think why he stuck out to me was different than why he stuck out to you, but you first.
Honestly, it was just strange to even see him there, let alone the shtick he brought out, almost that like washed up, like end of his life Elvish shtick and
kind of reminded me of David Arquette
a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just what I thought.
Me, I thought that was like it was Flophouse as fuck, like something like that, like someone you haven't even thought about in a long time just shows up and does something that entertaining. It's like that only comes from the mind of Schwartzy,
I mean, Corey, how did you enjoy being serenaded, bro?
Like I said, I mean, I joined in with what I could singing into my can, so I played into it.
It sounds like
that too. So
all right. So I need you guys to let me know in the comments. This sounds like we need to grab Corey and J-Bone this time and go. Since Devin, the last time we went out before he left for Texas, he roped me into doing karaoke. I feel like we need to have like a damn round 2 of this shit with something. Last time we did Creed, we'll have to come up with something. I got to have some alcohol, though, or it ain't going to happen. But shout out to Crown Royal for that as well.
Yeah, shout out the Crown Royal rep that was there for the free drink. That was greatly appreciated.
Yeah. Thanks to Scott from Crown Royal. Appreciate you, dude.
I'm glad. I'm glad some of us can remember names because I'm the worst with it.
What do you mean? Did you drink that much? Jeez, Corey, I can't take you anywhere. Take you out one time to
never
show.
That.
You get all crazy.
Never that. I didn't get crazy, and I didn't have to drive. So
he never has to drive. This motherfucker doesn't ever offer to drive. No shit, he didn't drive. Fuck, man.
Well, you want to hop in the work truck, dog?
I wouldn't give a fuck.
I
wouldn't give a fuck.
Bro. We'll drag the ladders, all the shit.
Hey, on a serious note, though, all in all, man, for me, I think it was just so fucking cool to see like one man's vision. Well, not one man, but Schwartzy had a vision, and we talked about that before we even went to Flophouse on Friday. He had a vision of what he wanted, and it came to light, man. And you could see that in that opening bell when he came out there, full of smiles and just dancing, having a fucking blast. And that's just cool, especially in professional wrestling. We all love it. It's cool to see somebody fulfill a vision that they wanted to start. You know what I mean? So shout out to Schwartzy and Flophouse and Randy. You guys killed it, man. Did it big. Can't wait till it comes back to Detroit.
Speaking of MM3, Donald, stay tuned because I think his pops might be banking his debut on the show soon. So, yeah, I definitely agree with the sentiments on MM3. I think MM3 has been putting himself out there for quite a while now and been putting himself on the map between going everywhere with ICW and still being able to do all the regular stuff that he had been known for a while, whether it be the high-flying stuff. I mean, I feel like that dude has been on a hell of a roll, especially the last couple of years, so I couldn't agree more with what we've seen out of Malcolm Monroe III. All right. Now, without any further ado, anybody that's been following the show for a while knows that we are big fans of RPW as we sponsored the last show that was in Michigan. And then now we are coming up on this weekend for Ruthless Pro presents King of the Kill, which first of all, that's a badass fucking name. Second of all, will there be like a King of the Hill style match in there at some point? I feel like that would make for some crazy shit with death matches. But tell me how you're feeling about coming into King of the Kill. And what can we expect from it?
Honestly, I feel great about it. I took the time to plan this one out properly. I've been working on this since January. A deathmatch tournament is something I always wanted to do, but I put it off until I was ready to do it or I was able to do it. I felt this year, finally, I had got myself to the point where I could get maybe the people I wanted. I also had the staff I needed behind me, all that fun stuff to make it work. And I started planning this thing out back in January. And what I would expect is a real high level of violence and chaos, like only that we normally bring around here,
I like it. J-Bone, I feel like we need to make a run out there on Saturday, bro.
Listen, so Kyle, you got an early pick for this? Let's just make a pick now, all right? No, it's
pick for what?
For the King of the Kill tournament. What are we
okay.
making?
Well, I'm going to put it on the screen first so we can see what they got on there first, because I don't, to be 100% honest with you, I don't remember all the names. All right. Let me.
Well, first of all, we got Joel Bateman versus Schlack. That's going to be like just death in a ring. I don't know. I don't know how much farther we're going to go with that particular match, but there's going to be blood. There's going to be violence. It's going to be rough.
The
So
gimmicks those guys have been asking for have been crazy.
Hide your kids, hide your wives. Don't let them watch the TV that night or be there live because that's gonna be crazy. Crazy King versus Dr. Redacted, another one. I mean, these are all gonna be bloody fights. But if I'm picking one guy, I'm gonna pick one guy in the whole field. My horse, quote unquote, is gonna be Tommy Vendetta.
Not a bad pick.
He put up a promo earlier today, and I believed every word he said. You ain't coming into Michigan and taking his spot. Tommy Vendetta is going to win the King of the Kill first annual deathmatch tournament. That's my horse.
All right.
That's picking.
I mean, obviously, with him being from Detroit, that's got to be a pick here, too. And he also is a past guest of the show. But he's not the only past guest of the show. And if Tommy's not going to win it, maybe I'm just biased towards the guy because we did a shoey together because J-Bone was too much of a bitch. But that being said,
once again, Kyle's been
Joel
smoking
Bateman?
the wrong weed. Kyle's been smoking the wrong weed. Me and Joel Bateman had an agreement. It didn't happen.
You didn't have no agreement on shit.
Didn't do the shoey?
No, neither one of them did.
Kyle
I know what's about to happen on Saturday.
Kyle smokes bad weed. We all know that.
What are you talking, bro? There's video proof of y'all making every type of excuse like a dude trying to get on parole. Come on, man.
You better quit saying they, because my excuse was the same from the beginning. That shit's disgusting, and I'm not doing it.
I didn't even have a
walk
problem.
around in a shoe and then drink out of the said shoe. I'm not
No, I brought a separate pair of shoes, fool. So I had a plan.
All my shoes
I did too.
Well walked, dog. That shit ain't happening. I got 6 animals in this house.
What are you trying to say? You got the funk and can't handle it?
Yep, I sure do. All my shoes do, and I am not drinking that.
Look, when we were at the deathmatch circus, me and Joel said, hey, we're going to do a shoey. It was time to do the shoey. He said, you know what? I got another match out of respect for my opponent. I don't want to
Get the fuck out of here. Then what was the excuse after it was over?
And we left because somebody got stabbed, Kyle. Were you not there?
I mean, I was one of the first ones to see it. That was pretty fucking gnarly, dude.
What? I mean, come on.
I mean, don't blame that on why you didn't do the shoey, because that didn't have nothing to do with it.
Literally why we didn't do
liar, liar. It's all right, J-Bone. I'll make sure that Joe sees this so he can make you pay up on your end of the bet. But it's all right.
Pay up. I will listen. I will do a tequila shoey. I don't give a fuck. I'm not scared.
You know I'm going to clip this, right?
Yeah, I know. I am so fucked on Saturday
right now.
I am so fucked on Saturday.
Hell yeah, that's the best part of it. Now that you said there wasn't video proof before, but there is now. Oh. So, and he said tequila.
Joel did say my shoes were too nice to take a shoey out. He said need a dirtier one. So that wasn't working out for me.
So, Chris, now that we've got the card up there, we know what some of these matchups are going to be. Can you explain for those that may be attending or those who are going to watch it on IWTV, how does King of the Kill work? Is it like a round robin type thing? Is it is it just the winners move on? How does King of the Kill work?
It's a single fall elimination tournament. So it'll go 8, 4, 2. So, the winners of the first 4 matches, 2 and 2 will go on after that. A 2-on-2 match. Winners from that match will be a 1-on-1 as the finish. I always like the traditional tournament style. I've always enjoyed that more than the styles where they have like 4 versus 4, where there's one person gets a win and the other 3 have to go. I always thought that this was a little better and more concise and easier to watch. And I've always enjoyed this style of tournament better. And then there'll be the non-tournament matches in between rounds.
Okay, that went into my other question. I was going to ask, is there going to be like matches in between each round so that they're not all death matches, or is it how are we going to do that one? But you just answered that one. With that said, what's some of the stuff that you're looking forward to out of it because of with the matchups and such? And who do you think is a dark horse maybe that people are sleeping on in this tournament?
I would say the dark horse would probably be Joe Dredd. He is not on a lot of people's radar yet. He's somebody I see a lot in. He's got a lot of great work behind him, but it's for like Crimson Crown in California, they don't stream their shows, so not a lot of people have seen it. Other such things. I have been lucky enough to see him live a couple times in like bar brawl type situations. And he impressed the shit out of me. I think he's gonna within the next year make a name for himself, and he might be like the dark horse in this thing.
He drew a hell of a fucking pick in the first round with Hoodfoot. I'll tell you that.
He's gonna get tried, that's for sure.
I was about to say, think of it this way, though. He just said he's a guy that doesn't have as much of a name in things. Well, dude, if he goes in there and beats Hoodfoot, I mean, it's going to be hard to say that the guy can't win the rest of the damn tournament if he can take him out. So
that's huge if he beats Hoodfoot. Good luck, pal.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge.
You better pack a lunch. That's all I know. But, dude, so I'm looking at this. Remington Roar, a guy that we saw with at Flophouse and won the Flophouse championship by the end of the night.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Roar? And I don't know, man. I agree with J-Bone. It's a good chance, I think, that we see Tommy Vendetta do his thing in this one. But how are you feeling on that one?
I mean, Tommy Vendetta's been a day oneer. He's literally been on our show since the very first show, so I can understand exactly why people think that. I think he's definitely got a great shot as well. I mean, he even did his first real official death match with us. So, I mean, he has been here since we have foundationed up. However, on the same token, Remington Roar has been around now for a while here, and this man has done some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. He's a tough son of a bitch. Like I was saying earlier, I saw this man take a fucking cactus and bite it like an apple and just keep wrestling. Like that to me was just like, what the fuck? In his title, when he went against with Randy West for the title, it took a taser to take him down. This guy is a goddamn monster. So I think either one of them has a real good chance. And I think if they were in different brackets, it would have been very easy to see them both together in the end.
I definitely can see that because, like I said, we saw Remington Roar do his thing and win the belt off of Danny DeMonto this past weekend. Like I said, I think this is going to be awesome. If you guys are in the building, come through and say what's up. I'll have stickers and shit. Take you a sticker.
The first round is like stacked like a finals card, dude. Like, look at this. Like, look at the first round. You got Crazy King. Like, bro, that's wild. Bateman and Schlack is going to be like the most violent thing you've ever seen, probably.
Don't forget about the homies Midwest Scummer on that thing too. Bro.
Every person
they're an in-between match.
I know they're not in the tournament, but
point is every person in this tournament could easily win this thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes from the first round to the second round to the third round. How much are they going to have left in the third round once the finals hit? Who's going to be the most bloody? Who's going to be most cut up? Who's going to take the most damage? I guess that's the strategy, right? Take the least amount of damage throughout the rounds, I guess.
I mean, when you're going that many rounds, just match after match, that has to be, at least in the back of your mind, is even if I could win this match, I got to take as little gimmicks as possible so I'm in good shape at least for the next one. I need to be less beat up than the guy I'm going against,
Exactly. I mean, once you get to round 3, where are you at? Mentally, physically, are you bloody still? I mean, you're not healing up between rounds. Let's face it, you got enough time. Mentally, where are you? Right? So come the finals, it all comes down who has the most heart, who wants it the most, who wants to be the king of the kill.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong, dude. There's multiple people that I can say I could definitely see winning it. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Chris, let anybody who's hasn't been out to an RPW show, what can they expect from King of the Kill, and where can they get tickets and all that stuff?
What you can expect is, we work really hard on our shows. We don't do the month-to-month one like most people do. We do bi-monthly because we want to really put a lot of time and effort and make all our shows very big and special. So what you'll see, hopefully, is a quality of show that far surpasses what you might normally see because we take the extra time and the extra effort to really plan things out and get it really good to go and really set in stone before we go on show day. This card I'm very proud of. Out of all the tournaments I've seen this year, and this isn't tooting my own horn, I think I came up with one of the more interesting ones when it comes to people. Like none of these matches have ever happened before anywhere. Not once, not a single one of these. So it's an entire day full of new matches, new matchups, people that don't normally get to work together, all that kind of stuff. And I think it'll be for a very special event. As far as tickets, go to rpw419.eventbrite.com. Fronts and second row are sold out, but we have plenty of general admission. This is also a weekend show with our friends from Unsanctioned Pro. They are running the night before, and there's activities surrounding both shows, going into and out of both shows, including bands, music, movie marathons, all kinds of stuff. There are combo packages available for $50. I'll get you both shows. So go check it out. There's also free camping on site. So if you bring your camping gear, you can stay for free. You set up your grill. You can have a good time. We want this also to be a party as well. And that's why we've put on like to where that's from Friday when it starts with Unsanctioned Pro. 740 has sponsored a tailgating party where they're bringing 200 free beers and snacks just to start this thing off. That is free of charge. Come help yourself to some beer. Go into that show, and then it'll be nothing but nonstop activities and camping and fun all the way until King of the Kill ends the next day.
I said, man, the camping shows are always a good time. I was there at the circus last year, and like we were talking about earlier with Flophouse, that party atmosphere is something else when it comes to the world of wrestling. So, like he said, like I'm saying, I'm definitely looking forward to Ruthless Pro, King of the Kill. I want to see who wins this damn thing. Like I said, if you guys are out there, come find me. I'll give you a sticker. Before we get into what went down Saturday at SummerSlam, I got to give a shout out to our sponsors, Potter's Tree Service. If you need wood chipping, storm cleanup, tree removal, all the good stuff that comes with that, Asa Potter's your guy. Tell him Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. All the links to his stuff, whether it's social media, phone number, all those things are there. Like I said, he's a good quality dude. And for all of you guys who are on the combat sports end of our show, he also sponsors a lot of the local fighters, from guys like our guy Kenny Cross in Bellator and Bobby Nash in Bellator, and a lot of the local guys on the way up. So if you guys need any work done, make sure you hit up Asa. Tell him Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. All right. Now, without any further ado, that wasn't even all that we had this weekend, man. SummerSlam was the shit. First of all, Kyle, you can go and ring the bell, but fuck you too, because he got tickets 2 rows in front of me for $220 the day of. So I about threw up. I said I learned this lesson when WrestleMania happened last year, and I ended up selling one of my tickets because I could find them cheaper. From now on, I'm not buying shit till the week of, or even maybe the day of, because, man, I was a little bit salty. Was happy as shit for him because it ended up working out, because there was a guy in the a wheelchair next to us. I'm drawing a blank on my man's name. I know he might be checking out the show. We appreciate you for checking us out. But because he was sitting there, there was an open chair next to Kyle. So I was like, well, fuck it then. I'm going to just slide my way up there a few rows quicker. And, yeah, dude, couldn't really have asked for a much better view, although I wish I was a little bit taller so I could have seen some more of the entrances. But ran into Dave LaGreca and Sam Roberts down there on the floor. And, dude, it was we were deep in there, man. Shout out to Ken Brash. Shout out to Ed. Ed's getting married. Shout out to Ed. And then you had Kyle down there. Devin has dubbed us the Mackenzie Collective, since we all got to get fitted for tuxes and all that. Shout out to one of our original 4, 2 out of the original 4. But Chris, what'd you think of SummerSlam, bro?
I had a blast. I didn't know I was going to the day of. We were at the ICW show, and somehow it just worked out. We ended up in these suites that were in the box offices that were like above.
Hell yeah!
It was an interesting experience. Unfortunately, though, I did miss the first, I think, 3 or 4 matches, because we didn't know we were going until we ended up there. So I think I came in during the LA Knight match.
Okay. Dude, that crowd went fucking nuts for that, dude.
Dude.
Holy shit.
That dude is
Boy,
so over.
that place shook. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, straight up shook when he came out, dude. And I'm so glad to see it because I've been watching him since he was Eli Drake in Another Life and all those things. And
Dummy, yeah.
yeah. Dude, like I said, you can't get over it. I think the sky's the limit for that guy. That was dope to see. J Bone, since you were in the building as well, bro, and Chris wasn't able to be there for the first few matches, what'd you think of what we got? First of all, and Corey, well, this is a great place for us to start too. But I mean, we started the show with Logan Paul versus Ricochet, which we found out later is because they were going to just usher him out of the arena and take him straight to the Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz fight. That ended up being a pretty good match, but I still feel like Ricochet didn't do enough to really get himself to be like get his get back because man, Logan was taking shots at his girl and everything, bro. So I'm looking like, man, if I was Ricochet, I wanted to see him try to beat the shit out of Logan a little bit more. But J-Bone, what do you think about them first couple matches, man?
Oh, dude, we started off red hot with Logan and Ricochet. That was just high flying, just wild, right? It was red hot, man. For me, I think Ricochet. I think it's over. I think there's too much there for Ricochet to be done with Logan Paul. So I think we're gonna get a little more. Maybe not in the next few weeks, but eventually we will. But second match of the night was Brock and Cody, dude. And that was like, I don't want to say like kicked off the show, but what a way to like get you feeling SummerSlam, right? Brock Lesnar, I mean, let's face it, Brock, love him or hate him, he's a legend. The guy knows how to capture the crowd. He knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to be whatever he's supposed to be. And he is definitely a special attraction. And then you got Cody with the way he worked the crowd and the entire crowd singing the song and the pyro. It was just an amazing time to be in a crowd like that. The card overall, man, it was long. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I had kids with me. It was long, but what an amazing time. What an amazing night for Detroit, the city to come together. Like you said, Kyle, we've seen so many faces down there. It was just a collective of everybody loves pro wrestling, man. And SummerSlam delivered. What more can you say about it? 60,000 strong in Detroit, filled up Ford Field, man. And we did it big. It looked great. It felt great. It was a great night Saturday night.
I had a blast, dude. I feel like one of my favorite parts of the whole thing being there was just all the people I ran into. Shout out to Uncle Chase. Shout out to Shannon that was down there. Like I said, Ed and Ken, and we ran into La Greca. Dude, I mean, literally all throughout the place, just running into people left and right. And that's the coolest thing about stuff like that coming to Detroit because it reminds me a lot of what it was like at WrestleMania 23 because even then, I remember seeing so many people that we went to school with who I knew didn't watch wrestling like that, but because it was WrestleMania, they were all there. And that I feel like was one of the things that I thought was most cool about the whole night as a whole for me is just the vibe of it. It really like, you know, sometimes you can go to a show and it'll seem like the fans just want to hijack the show and shit on everything and whatever. But I feel like one of the coolest things of that show was the fact that it just seemed like the whole crowd was so happy for it to be there that it just seemed like good energy all throughout, throughout the building.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I seen probably 15 to 20 people that I knew, and none of us even sat together. You know what I mean? We were just there. We all met up. We ran across each other. Some of us, hung out in line together. It was a collective of just let's get together for pro wrestling, man. And then, like I said, that when things like that happen, it's good things for the city. It's good things for pro wrestling. So A+ if you ask me.
I agree, man. I mean, that match, even though like Brian's saying, with the Ricochet Logan Paul match, that it could have been better in the Rumble together. Their spots in the Rumble were better. I agree with that. I think a lot of it is with them both being high flyers like that, sometimes it kind of just seems like more of a car crash versus having like a whole thing to it. But speaking about that second match with Cody and Brock, I don't understand how all these people could say there wasn't any story. I mean, Brock beat the dog shit out of him for like the first 10 minutes of that match, had him put him through the table, had him barely able to get back in the ring every time. And then to do all that right in front of his mom, dude, was that was gnarly. And the way that I watched it back on TV and the way that they panned to his mom and just is getting his mom's reaction as he's just getting the shit beat out of him. I feel like, dude, it was a great story. And I think the fact that Brock put him over at the end with shaking Cody's hand and giving him a hug or whatever, I feel like that's kind of like the stamp of approval. Like I was saying before, even though I was one of those that thought Cody should have won the belt at WrestleMania, him not winning and then having to go through what he did with Seth, and now he did what he did with Brock, and he's made it out of both of those. Those are two of about as credible a names as you could get in WWE. So I feel like now, whenever that time comes for him to go for the world title again, whether that's the World Heavyweight Championship or he goes against Roman, now more of the WWE fans are aware of it. Because like we talked about before, just because people like you and me, J-Bone, and I'm sure, Chris, you saw it too, saw all the stuff Cody was doing outside of WWE when he was doing Impact and Ring of Honor and all the different places he ended up, a lot of the WWE fans didn't see that. So I feel like him getting to go through these series with about two of the top guys you have in the whole company, and for him to be victorious, because don't even forget that he's already beat Seth 3 times. Seth's the world heavyweight champion. He won 2 out of 3 with Brock, and got the win at SummerSlam. So I mean, now I feel like he's elevated himself into a totally different spot. But yeah, dude, I think it's safe to say I think we're on, hopefully. I would hope that we're on a collision course for Roman and Cody again. But that being said, I mean, we still got to see how it plays out, because look what happened in the main event. Fucking Jimmy turned on Jay now when Jay left the bloodline to help him out. And now we got a whole nother chapter of what we got. Chris, what have you thought of what we saw with all the bloodline stuff? And what did you think of this new wrinkle that we got with Jay giving the super kick to his brother?
I'll tell you what, I had my own theory on what was going to happen with all that, and it did not happen. I had some side bets that I had to pay up on. I thought with the Screen Actors Guild strike, there's no way The Rock wasn't coming back. I thought we were going to see The Rock that night. My whole angle was it was going to be The Rock coming back like, you're not the head of the table. You're just keeping my seat warm. I'm the head of the table, yada, yada. We did not get that. What we got was, brother versus brother. And I thought that was very cool as well. However, I did not like having to pay up on those side bets I made. I was so confident. I was like, what else is he doing? He's not recording albums. That guy can't help but not work.
Yeah. Like, what are you?
I mean, he just bought a house for that guy in the UFC the other day. Like, The Rock is just, that guy's always doing something.
They're just eating pancakes, drinking Terramana, and fucking lifting houses.
Terramana.
That's is that the type of tequila you're drinking out of the shoe this weekend?
I will. I love Terramana. Terramana is actually really smooth. Very good, Rock. If you're hearing this, I love it. Send me cases. I appreciate it.
Send me cases.
He didn't say a bottle. He said cases. So that means he's going to do a lot of shoeies there.
Like to shoot our shot. Shoot our shot here.
Hey, man, I ain't opposed to it. FREE might be one of my favorite 4-letter words. But speaking of the main event and all that stuff, like you said, I'm interested to see where we go next. But to me, there were 2 matches that stuck out of the whole card to me. I think the Finn versus Seth match was very, very good. And the way that they tied everything in with Priest having the Money in the Bank too, and that, kind of carrying over into the Raw after that. And I mean, I don't think anybody who really knows anything about Seth or Finn really expected it to be a bad match, but out of what we saw, man, I really enjoyed those 2 matches in particular. J-Bone, what were some of your favorites on it, and what did you think of the ones that I mentioned?
Well, dude, I think we all knew going into that Finn and Seth was
shout out to Potter's Tree Service.
Arguably one of the better matches of the night. We knew that. Just in the ring. But everything they did outside of it, storyline, you add the story, and it was so good. It was just so good, man. it's elevating every time we see them on TV. It's gonna eventually it's gonna get to a point where like we have to cap it off and we have to end it, and it's kind of gonna suck. We don't want it to end because we don't know what's gonna happen with Priest. We don't know what's happening with now we got the wild card JD McDonough, right? We don't know what's happening with this whole crew, but it's been so good. Dirty Dom, Rhea, who's the leader there, right? I mean, we just have no clue on what's happening with that story, and I think that's what makes good wrestling, right? We don't want to know everything. And then go into the main event, the Jimmy and Jay thing. At first, when I was there, I was like, well, that didn't make a lot of sense, right? Out of all the things they've done, why would Jimmy come back and turn on Jay? It just didn't make sense. But take all that away, you're looking at arguably the greatest WWE tag team of all time just split up. That's a big deal. These guys have multiple tag team championships. And like I said, arguably the greatest tag team in WWE. They're done. That's a huge turn in what we're doing in the bloodline thing, man. So as again, every pay-per-view, we're like, this is it. Here's where we're gonna end it. And then we end up with more questions.
Here's the thing though, dude. Unfortunately, I feel like wrestling has conditioned people to where like when you see groups or factions get put together that people are just inevitably waiting for them to break up. But like if you really think of the story with the bloodline, I mean, we've all said it. I mean, it's one of the best stories of the past 20 years, bar none. And even with it going 3 years, you know, every time they've turned that next corner, even if it may have looked like in the beginning, like it didn't make sense where it was going, I got to give credit where it's due. And they've done a good job of tying that back up. So even though right now it doesn't really make sense to me why Jimmy would have done that to Jay, you always got to remember, man, you always got the age-old story of sibling rivalry. Why are you getting the title shot over me and I'm the older brother? There's a million different ways you can go with it, but I feel like however it plays out, I think that it's going to be interesting either way, because on top of all that, it's being rumored that Roman's supposed to be gone for like the next bit too. So, I mean, that could be why Jimmy and Jay are going to fight it out while Roman's gone for a while. So like I said, there's just too much, there's just too much good stuff with it, man. Like
when you can get to an end of a story, quote unquote, the end of a story, and end up closing the chapter, like I said, with more questions and answers, you're doing good business, man. You know what I mean?
Well,
you always want more. So,
well, I mean, according to what Paul Heyman said in the post show press conference, first of all, shout out to Whip and everything, but you know, from what they said in the post-show press conference, Heyman said they're only in the bottom of the third, which means that we got a ways to go with this shit. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. For me, like I said, I think my favorite matches were the Finn and Seth match, and I really enjoyed Cody and Brock too. With that said, though, what are your guys' thoughts on the way the way the co-main went with the women's triple threat, man? Because you had Bianca, you know, either whether it was a work or shoot, whatever, her knees banged up, and then out comes Io to cash in. I mean, I feel like the match was really good. I saw a few people in the Reality Era news group kind of complaining about why did it have to be Bianca to lose. But let's be honest, bro, hasn't Asuka lost enough?
Yeah.
I mean, hot damn it. They were finally making her strong. She was champion for a while, dude. And I mean, think of it this way. I stick to what I said when we were in the arena. Remember, on Friday, we just had the Street Profits show up with Bobby Lashley and beat the dog shit out of everybody in the ring. What if it's time to make Bianca a heel on the main roster? Put her with her husband, put her with the Hurt Business for a minute. Let's see a different side of, you know, what we saw with her, because like we were talking about with Big Swole, man, the Hurt Business was one of the best groups they've had in years. So if they're going to revamp that with different members, I think that would be perfect. And to have her as like the female piece of that group, I feel like would be super dope. Corey, did you watch Logan Paul versus Nate Diaz?
Yeah, I did.
So before we talk about the fight, Logan Paul had his match and all that shit. They ushered this motherfucker out the arena straight to a jet, flies to the fight in his wrestling gear. And if you look after the fight's over, he's in the ring with his brother in his wrestling gear. So
he never took it off. It was hilarious. Yeah,
he wouldn't have had time.
I had brought it up last week on the show. I had said that's the rumblings that's probably going to end up being your guys' first match, because that was the rumblings in the air was he was going to be flying straight out from there. It worked out for him. I mean, it worked out for him. I mean, both brothers being successful on the night and seeing them both in the position that they are from where, I guess they were just a couple of years ago. If you're somebody who aspires to eventually be famous or do something along those lines, I mean, congratulations to those guys, man. They both won on the night, and it was happy for them, even if I'm not their biggest supporters. Happy for them,
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I might not be the biggest Paul fans, but dude, like you were saying, and now have you guys heard the news? This motherfucker Logan Paul decided he wants to double dip, and now he wants to get back in the boxing ring. Is going to fight Dylan Donis here in a couple months.
No,
what do you think about
fighting? He's going to end up fighting a mysterious opponent that has to fill in at last minute.
I was about to say, is he gonna make it to the fight?
Man, you're calling Dylan Donis a hoe, huh?
I mean, I'm calling a spade is what I'm calling it.
Wow.
I feel like. I'm not calling nobody a hoe. I'm saying my man has pulled out of every single fight he's been rumored to be in since, like 5-6 years ago or some shit, since he fought in Bellator. So
you're forgetting about his fight at the arena when he was fighting Khabib, bro.
Yeah, the unsanctioned no count, that's for sure. Because if that's the case, he's got some L's on his record as of late. He's taken some punches, but no. Honestly, are we jumping into the boxing match at this point? Because
I mean, I figured we could talk about it for a minute with Logan Paul going in there, but I mean, I was just trying to point out that it was a big night for them.
Yeah,
as well.
Absolutely. It was like I say, if you're a fan of the brothers, I enjoy Logan's stick more, I guess you could say, but that being said, both of them very successful on the night, man.
Like I said, man, and here's the thing, Logan could definitely win that fight against Dylan Donis if it happens. So that would even be an even better look for him. Go out there, knock Dylan Donis out, and then go back to WWE and say, well, you see that? That one-handed punch didn't need no damn brass knuckles like he did on Saturday to knock out old Ricochet, man. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting to see how that all played out. But with everything else we saw there, what do you think? I was so happy to see Shayna Baszler get the win over Ronda Rousey. Anybody that's been following the show for a while, Shayna was actually going to come on the show at one point right after she got signed by NXT, because shout out to our friend Tara LaRosa, who they've got 3 fights against each other in the MMA world. Like I said, it was so cool to see her get the win, but man, I feel like that match would have been so much better if they would have just went with like the fight pit or something. Because like calling it an MMA rules match, like I mean, for me, somebody who likes the grappling stuff, that part of it was good, but I feel like the fight pit would have been visually cooler and it would have gave them more freedom to do stuff. Chris, what'd you think of Ronda and Shayna?
I thought having an MMA fight, well, the way that they did it in a crowd that super large was a little underwhelming, because a lot of it, was like mat work, holds, stuff like that. You have a giant crowd there, and some of these people can only see, dots while they're looking at the screen up there, and it was a lot of like breathing holds and all that. And I thought it was a little underwhelming. I think the crowd responded in the same fashion. I was very happy to see Shayna Baszler at least get her flowers on that one. But I think that was one of the lower points in SummerSlam for me.
J-Bone, what'd you think?
I actually went and bought T-shirts during that match, so I missed the whole
I'll tell
thing.
you what he thinks.
I missed the whole thing, to be honest. We had to pick one, right? I didn't want to.
I went during the Battle Royal.
The lines were ridiculous, dude. So I had to pick one match, and the kid said, I don't care about this one. So that's when we peed. That's when we bought T-shirts and such, and popcorn and $9 Coca-Colas. I went back and I did watch it on Peacock though, the PLE the next day, and I don't know, man. I'm with you. You could have did so much more with it. Put it in the fight pit. Just if you're gonna script
Please
an
just
MMA
let them
fight,
do something with Shayna though out of this.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're gonna script an MMA fight on WWE, make it more entertaining.
Have some striking first.
Yeah,
do more
like
striking.
Make it more explosive and entertaining. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Shayna came back with a black eye did help, but I mean,
watching people spar on YouTube was a little more entertaining than that to me, just because I knew what it was. You know what I mean? I'm not dumb. I'm hip to the fact that this is WWE, but
that's why I think the fight pit could have alleviated some of that.
Exactly. In the end, though, Shayna Baszler did get the win, and that's a big deal
dope
for her. And hopefully she gets pushed up bigger. And I think we've seen a little bit more of that on Raw last night. But she deserves her flowers, man. She's been here a while, and she's paid her dues, I think, and that win was huge for her. So hopefully she gets bumped to the next level. We've been singing her praises for a long time, Kyle. You know that.
Bro, I've been saying for a long time that as soon as I knew she was coming to WWE, I was like, man, and this is before there was even a thought of Ronda Rousey coming to WWE, man. Like I've always been a fan of Shayna Baszler. I was a fan of what they did in NXT, and now that she's gotten this big win over Ronda, I hope, like you said, that we'll see more of Shayna in that main event picture. But I mean, all in all, dude, I thought SummerSlam was a fun ass show. It was so many different people in there. Shout out to Whip getting all through the press conferences and shit, and getting told off by LA Knight. That was pretty funny. But that being said, dude, I mean, it was just great to have it in the city. Hopefully this will show out more to WWE that we can handle bigger events like that. Like I said, the last one before this was like 2007. So like I said, it would be nice to continue to see that come out there. But overall, man, like I said, for me, I think the best part of the whole thing is just to be able to do that here in Detroit. To be able to do that here in Detroit, I've traveled to WrestleMania and all kinds of places, but to be able to have all this stuff be at home, have the show out there in some of the events, and have us out there amongst the stuff, man, like that, I think was overall what was coolest to me, is to be able to have it in our backyard, go down the spot where they usually have like the Lions tailgate, and instead you've got like Shotzi's tank and Eddie's lowrider and all these things. It was just nice to see it overall take over the city. And I feel like above all, the sentiment I've heard from everybody, and it seems to be the same from all three of us, is just we all had a blast just being there, dude. So that to me is the overall takeaway, that I just I enjoyed being there. But I tell you now, I'm just interested to see what goes next with Cody, because I still feel like that this whole thing is going to spin back to where it's going to be him and Brock. Or not him and Brock, him and Roman at Mania. But only time will tell, dude. It was a great weekend, but fucking A, dude. Chris, before we let you get out of here, my man. So we've got King of the Kill this weekend. You told us how we're doing the bi-monthly pay-per-views and stuff, giving it a little bit of time to build. I mean, you've already told us what we can expect and what's going to make this differently. I'm just saying, the next time we do this, we got to have like a King of the Hill style match too. I don't know. That's the first thing I thought of, was King of the Hill when I saw it. I thought it said King of the Hill until I realized it was King of the Kill. But I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm looking forward to Ruthless Pro. If there's anything else you want everybody to know, where they can find you guys, all that good shit. And floor is yours.
We're on all the socials. You can find us Twitter and was it X now? You can find us on X, Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Usually under Ruthless Pro 4 and 9. All our tickets are at rpw419.eventbrite.com. Our next show after this, we announced that we're going to be back in Chicago in October on the 14th. We have Pagano already announced, and we just announced today that Atticus Kogar will be there. Aside from that, we will be back in December right here in Detroit. So look forward to that as well.
News, let's go.
Yep.
I like it. And if they got Atticus Kogar coming, anybody who missed our chat with Atticus Kogar, thanks to the fine folks at Circle 6, you guys are in for a treat. Come Chicago. We're all going to be in a treat for this Saturday. And in the meantime, and in between time, make sure that you guys stay tuned, because you never know what it is that we could have coming through. We've got with NWA 75, their 75th anniversary coming up this month. We've already got confirmed for next week. We've got the return of the Woad. The Weapon of Ash Destruction will be making her return to the show and talking about NWA 75. I just was talking with your NWA tag team champs. We may have Mecha Wolf sliding back through here soon. And maybe even Aaron Stevens. So, man, you never know what's going to go down. Shout out to our guy, Mitch McKee. I just saw he had another fight announced for LFA. Maybe we'll chop it up with him. And it's fight week in this bitch for our guy, Josh Fremd, UFC this weekend. Put you some money on Josh Fremd. Win you some fucking money like I did last time. And in the meantime and in between time, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Peace.